All right, here we are. I'm gonna speak loud because I have to throw my voice over. So now we got a panel. Now we got to work with our materials. We got three components. We've got this foam core, we've got our side rails, and then we've got our bottom board. What do we do with all this? Let's start correcting the course. Let's see what we're after here. What's the end result? All that stuff. Well, I like using this board because it's so solid that you could literally stand on it without crushing it. Because ideally, what we're going to do, is we're going to cut a circle out as you see the outline of the panel. I don't want this to crush, I don't want it soft. I want one layer down at the bottom with no cutout. The second layer I want with a cutout so that the stained glass can drop inside of that little cavity. The stained glass is not as thick as the 1/2 inch foam core, so it's going to fall inside of that little protected cavity in the middle. So typically I use 3 of these foam core boards. This foam core comes in various thicknesses. I'm using 1/2 inch in this. I can use a 3/4 inch, a 1/2 inch. I could use 3/4 for the outsides and a 1/2 inch for the middle, and you're only talking a very narrow cavity. So this is a very efficient system. Now if you feel more comfortable with using 4 boards, then that is the thickness overall that you're going to have to figure out. In other words, look at that. Let's go back and look at that just a second. 4 thicknesses of board is about what I want out of this board. This board is 3 inches, and the thickness of 4 boards plus the bottom board is 3 inches. So I got a choice. I can either super pad it, or I can use 3 boards, or I can use 3 boards of various thicknesses. That's all up to you, especially with the size of the panel. This panel is 23 1/4 inches. This panel is. So you've got to explore your options. Between my panel and the side rail is also an issue. In other words, how do I know from here to here, what does this all mean? Typically, I like to keep about 2 inches in between my window, its cavity in other words. So if I was to draw a line right here with my magic marker, eventually I'm going to cut this bottom right about there to be square. This is inaccurate. I will measure it for accuracy and a straight line. Now all this area out here you could stand on 4 layers thick or 3 layers thick. You cannot crush this. In the middle, odds of you being able to crush that stained glass panel is so thin, you would have to literally crush the plywood in order to get to that cavity. This is about the most secure way of shipping a panel I've ever invented for myself, and I share that with you. So these pieces that you're going to get at Lowe's, this is 1/2 inch, you're going to determine whether you want 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch. 3 1/2 inches is only 1.5 inches. 3/4 inches is substantial. It's 3/4 inches overall more. So it adds up. You can even get up to 2 inch in this stuff if you really have concern, or if you're shipping multiple panels inside of that cavity. The voila moment now. So if you've got 3 panels like this, you can ship them all at once, utilizing a thicker cavity, or just adding more of these 1/2 inches if you already have these type of materials. This is the only thing that really needs to be thought about, is having these options. Well, I'm going to go about my panel, and I'm going to use 4 layers because I'm going to add some glass to it, to this shipment. It's small pieces of glass, but I'm going to add that as a bonus to this panel as it gets shipped. So it might be kind of fun for you to kind of watch that. I'm creating a little storage area for some glass that's going to be shipped with this panel. Crazy, huh? So I'm going to utilize 4 layers of 1/2 inch in my program. So let's next panel, I've already got my wood cut and determined. The next panel, I'm going to show it set up just like. So I have to do a lot of things behind the scenes so that we don't waste time in the video. But at this point, we're just talking about the things that we've got to look at. We've got foam core, the wood, and our plywood. Only 3 components, but yet it's really important is to orchestrate the order, priority, or to kind of have everything answered so that it all comes together quickly. Let's go in the next video. It'll all unwind at that point. Thank you. Bye-bye.